Okay, here's how it goes. President Xi says, "Now, my people, do not worry. The great government will take care of you. Do not worry. Housing is for you to live in, not for speculation. So worry not. The government is going to address the housing issue to make sure that all the housing is affordable for you, for everyone in China." So what does he do? He pokes the bubble like this. So the goal was to cool the housing market, which is really commendable because not many politicians are willing to do that. That's just a career suicide. But this housing bubble has been brewing for a long time in China. So in case if you didn't know, the housing price is outrageously expensive in China. In the first tier cities like Shenzhen, the median housing price to the median income ratio is 48:1. This means that if you make $10,000, you need at least $480,000 to buy a house. So if you make $100,000 as a household income, you need 4.8 million to buy a house in Shenzhen. That is outrageously expensive. But, the Chinese people believe that you need a roof over your head. You must have a house. You must have your own house. So what do? They put all their money into housing real estate. Not just their money. It requires 6 wallets to put a down payment. Just a down payment. So that is you, your partner, your mom, your dad, your partner's mom, your partner's dad. Just 6 people just to pull together a down payment for a house. That is outrageous. Here are some more figures on the housing price to the income ratio. For example, in Beijing and Shanghai, which are the 2 top cities in China, they hover around 31:1. And in LA, it's about 9. In San Francisco, it's about 9.6. In Sydney, it's 11.8. And in Vancouver, Canada, it's 13.8. P.S. If you didn't know, the affordability housing ratio should hover between 3 to 6. So anything above 7, 8 is already expensive, and China is just ridiculously expensive. Now, let's talk about the crash. So with a little poke from the government, the goal is to cool down the housing market so it doesn't get crazier because it's already ridiculously crazy. What the government didn't know is that once they poke this bubble, the effect is being snowballed. And here's what happened. The housing price peaked in around 2019, and then with the pandemic, it really slowed down everything. But then it really started dipping in 2021. Do you remember hearing about Evergrande? They are the biggest Chinese property developer and home builders that was close to defaulting billions of dollars of their debt. That's billions. Some people compared it to the Lehman of America in 2008 during the housing bubble crisis. Essentially, the company missed a September deadline on an $83.5 million interest payment. They're having insolvency issues. And so what do they need to do? They need to sell off their properties in order to raise more money, more funding to fund their operations and keep it afloat. They have millions of workers, like construction workers, and they have millions of homeowners who have bought their pre-sales that is currently under construction. They need large amounts of money to keep their operations afloat. But their wallet is so tight that they don't have enough money. So what do? They sell off some of their property at a discount. And then so they can get more money, then they need to sell off more to get more money. And that is just a vicious cycle that has a domino effect. And this is why the price keeps going down. If Evergrande does ever go bankrupt, it would for sure make a huge dent in the Chinese economy. So what happened? It got a bailout from the government. This could be a good news or bad news depending on how you look at it. The government did stop the bleeding from Evergrande because they have a huge stake in the Chinese real estate market. But all the other developers and real estate businesses are folding every day as we speak. one goes down every single day. So the Chinese real estate accounts for about 30% of the China's gross domestic product. That's around $65 trillion, twice of US's housing market. And there was a saying a while ago that if all the property value in Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou, you can buy up the whole world. That is how expensive all these property added up to. So if that collapses, just think, oh man, what a devastating impact it could have worldwide. Because China is the second largest economy in the world. Plus, China is the home to millions of manufacturing plants that ship their goods worldwide. So let's talk about the impact of this housing bubble to you and I. China has always pretty much kept their economy closed off to the West, and they've kept it closed off and sustained themselves quite well over the last few decades. So some people don't think it will have a devastating effect, but what we can see right now, the main impact it has caused is the hyperinflation. So here's the cycle of how the hyperinflation came to be. First, it starts off with the housing bubble in China, with the housing prices dropping 20 to 50% depending on the city, and even to 90% in some of these ghost towns. So people need to cut their losses and get out of the market because they're losing money. People are losing jobs. Businesses are closing down. Companies are shutting down manufacturing goods. The economy has just taken a downturn. Obviously, there are many factors, such as the trade war with the US that lasted for a few years. There's COVID. There's also internal Chinese policy that made changes to how business can operate. So all these contributed to a change in the Chinese economy. But with more and more people losing money, more and more people losing jobs, companies closing down, businesses folding up, the supply chain of manufactured goods have just been disrupted. And this will likely take years or longer to recover, to rebuild. So while the supply of goods have decreased, the demand from the West remains the same. So with the decrease of supply, the demand drives up the prices of the goods. And what does that mean for you and I? No more everyday low prices at Walmart anymore. We are now at a 7% inflation, which is crazy that it jumped so high so fast. Some experts say that this hyperinflation is temporary, but I'm not sure how easy it is nor how fast it is to restart the manufacturing of goods to increase the supply chain. Or is there going to be a decrease in demand worldwide? How will they resolve these supply chain issue? Who will be injecting money into businesses to restart the manufacturing of goods? So I think this inflation will last quite a while unless there's another solution. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. As this is an ongoing issue that only time can tell what will happen, my hope is that this won't have a devastating effect worldwide. Aside from the hyperinflation that we have already experienced, I hope there won't be a crash in the economy in the States or Europe. So what can you do to keep up with the hyperinflation? You can start by cutting some of your expenses, trim the fat down if you can, and really makes more money. Start a side hustle. Check out this video on best passive income ideas that you can get started today. It's no use to keep on saving money and just leaving it in your bank account because it's just worth less and less as the day goes on. Another way is to invest in oil. When there is an inflation, oil usually goes up. That's just historical figure. So if history repeats itself, something you can think about is investing in oil. So do you think there will be an effect from the Chinese housing bubble in the West? If so, leave it in the comment below and let me know what you think the effect will be. Will it cause a stock market crash? I'd love to hear from you. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great day and a financially blossoming life. See you in the next one. Bye.